Hello, in this video we are going to create a new edit endpoint in the Right Management console. You need to at least have the WMC user's permission to have access to the Endpoints tab. It is also possible to import or export endpoints. For now, I'm going to show you how to create a new edit endpoint. You can now see a subdivided window, one with the general settings on the left side and one for the field settings. Choose the database you want to connect to and set a name for the new endpoint. You may choose one or multiple spaces for this endpoint, but you can only set spaces that your user has access to. The default setting for the reload type is full app reload, which is generally the most preferred method, followed by partial app reload. You could also choose task reload, but that is only available for ClickSense Server on Enterprise. Next is the Always Save for Row feature. When disabled, each time you save, only edited cells will be written into the database. When enabled, the entire data row will be written back to the database. We will have a closer look at that later when I show you how the backend extension structure works. The field settings on the right define the data communication between write extensions and the writeback server. Clicking the plus button adds a new field with 4 columns. The technical field name explicitly identifies the click field from the extension, while the database field name specifies the name of the respective field in the database. You can choose between 4 options as type for your data format: string, number, date, and style text. The primary checkbox sets the field as primary field. The primary fields can be compared with the dimensions fields in Click and explicitly identify a data row. The trash can symbol at the end can be used to delete whole fields, except primary fields. They cannot be deleted or added in hindsight. If everything is entered correctly, the new endpoint can be saved. The corresponding database tables of the endpoint will now be generated fully automatically. Doing so shows us the data model for Click. It can also be copied by clicking the button in the right upper corner. The last thing for me to do now is to connect the new endpoint in my Write object in the Click app. To do so, just go to the extension's property panel and click on Server Settings. The endpoint will appear in the drop-down list. With this newly created endpoint, we are going to have a look into my database. In this case with SQLite Studio. The structure will always be the same. It doesn't matter if you use MariaDB, PostgreSQL, or any other database management system. In general, table names follow a simple pattern. The W represents write and the following letter the extension. E for edit, P for plan. Following is the type of table and lastly the name of the endpoint. There are 2 default tables, data, history, and one view for one endpoint. The data table holds the most current value per primary key. Beside the defined columns we have on the left, it also contains the columns deleted, version, changed by, and updated at. This way, changes can be tracked by whom it was saved, when it was saved, and what the current version is. The history table, same as the data table, saves the value per primary key. The difference is that it does not just save the current one, but holds every change that ever occurred so that we have the full history and can create audit trails on them. The view shows us the same data available in the history table, but extends it with an isCurrent flag, which represents the latest change per primary key. Now I quickly redirect to the Right Management console to enable Always Save for Row. Once the button is enabled and the changes have been saved, Always Save for Row generates 2 new tables, Full Data and Full History. With every save event, the changes are written into the data table as usual. But Full Data and Full History will save the whole row and not just a changed cell. This sums up the basic information you need to know about the Write Edit data structure. For more information, please check out our Write YouTube channel or have a look into the Write manual.